All right, guys, so we are in one of the worst times of online business. Everyone tells you what they're doing. Everyone acts like they know what they're doing. Everyone is telling you to do growth operating, stop SMMA, stop being a closer, work with creators, help them scale their business. But the biggest problem we're having right now is no one is actually backing what they're saying. And so today, I decided to put myself to the challenge as well as one of my students. And what I did is I partnered with one of my students right here, Hui, to do a launch with him, right? He got a creator. We said, hey, let's do it together. And just to show you guys exactly that we still know what we're doing. This is only a private launch. What I'm doing right now today is crazy because I'm going to show you guys the private launch. And right after that, in a week, I'm going to show you guys how the public launch went. This is my promise to you guys that today I'm going to show you what it's like to launch privately. And then I'm going to have to show you what it's like to launch publicly. Okay, I'm taking this risk because I know exactly that we know what we're doing, and we're going to show you exactly how to do it. Now, if you don't know me or who I am, my name is Yusuf Lashwal. I basically have been scaling creators for the past 2.5 years before the word even growth operating existed. I used to do sales, had a content agency, and then I was like, you know what? These creators, one of my clients made like $50K in one single week. And I was like, you know what? I think I should work with creators, help them sell their programs, their courses, and take a percentage. And since then, it's all history. I've hit multiple six-figure months back to back, and I've helped over, I think, 20 students scale to 10K a month, and a couple that I know right now personally who do 40, 50K a month, 30K a month consistently. So I want to back what I'm saying here today. Everything you're hearing from me, you don't know if it's bullshit, if it's true. And I'm going to show you guys today what a private launch looks like. If you're going to launch a creator, maybe you don't have a creator yet, you plan to, I'm going to show you guys exactly what it looks like to launch someone and basically how it works. So here's some proof of the launch itself, and let's pretty much get into it real quickly. So now let's go over what typically happens and what this creator was basically going through. Now, this was a trading creator. For obvious reasons, I'm not going to say exactly who it is, but you guys should be able to tell. Maybe with time you can kind of guess. But he was selling a $97 a month offer. He had like 50 members, only making like, 5K a month, and they want to be making more than 10K a month. Now, you guys already can tell they made way more. The question is how? Most coaches are basically stuck in the same place, right? Most creators, they sell $97 courses. They have a bunch of low ticket buyers and not making any money from thousands of followers. And obviously, when you already have a small group of paid members, the first thing we decided to do is that, hey, we're going to build an ascension funnel, right? Now, I'm going to basically down to you guys, but an ascension funnel is when you have a low ticket offer, and then basically from the low ticket offer, you sell someone on a low ticket product, which is a lower price product, to a high ticket offer. And we did that with a private launch. And obviously, you guys are going to see that this is a private launch. The public launch is actually going to be a lot more aggressive, and it's going to be a lot crazier. So I'm excited for you guys to be in with us. So basically, let's put it this simply. He had a small group on WAP, and what we're going to do essentially is run a power offer. Now, what is that? Essentially a document, it's an announcement going over, hey, just explaining to people what they're going to get in the high ticket and basically helping them ascend. So how does this ascension funnel work, right? So here's how it works. And this is probably one of the best funnels you can run right now, especially with WAP blowing up and all these little MRR groups every single time. So typically you have a customer, right? Now this person who's a customer starts from scratch. They're pretty much down here right below. They don't know how to become profitable. They don't know where to start. They don't know what to do. And so you're going to charge them a low fee for them to just get into the funnel and really understand, get a first feeling of the value that they pretty much can get. And now with this, and you're going to understand, guys, this is a value ladder. So for every single product, you're providing an X amount of value that should get them an X amount of results. And then they should obviously, if they pay more, that means they're going to basically make more money. It's like simple way of explaining it, right? The more money they pay, the more essentially the results you're going to pretty much promise them. Now the offer here is that, hey, you pay $49 a month. You're going to make your first $1,000 with trading. So who's that prospect at the moment? They basically know how to become profitable. They made their first $1,000 with information with the low ticket offer, but now they have a new problem, right? The low ticket doesn't have as much information. It doesn't have as much hands-on, and they're facing new problems for them to scale their trading, which is where the high ticket comes in, right? Where they have a trading community, basically helping them scale past 5, 10K a month to basically essentially become a trader. Now they see the high ticket offer. It has promises to basically solve all the new problems they're facing. The product, the prospect already feels drawn to this, and basically they just want to upsell naturally because you delivered really well on here. Now, what I want to say importantly is that this product needs to be really good. If someone pays $50, they should feel like they're getting $1,000 worth of value, so that when they go to pay $3K, they'll feel like they're getting, $30K, $40K worth of value. It's pretty much that simple. And obviously, since you got them bought in, you've over-delivered here, it's basically a no-brainer for them to buy, right? Now, how many people can you typically expect to kind of upsell? Typically, 10-20% of people in your low-ticket members will buy a more expensive product. It could even be higher, right? It's just like minimum. And so what we did here is before even announcing, this new offer to the entire audience, like, you know what? Let's make a small group of people, right? And let's basically build this early access offer. This allows you to charge early, see what offer is going to essentially work, and essentially see, hey, is the funnel going to do really well? Are people going to buy? And then get early data on the sales calls. Why did people buy? Why did they not buy? So when you actually do the public launch, you're going to make a lot more bread. Now, it was so easy to upsell a couple people, right? So what we did basically is that we just first give access to low ticket signal group members, right? And then basically from there, we sold 6 people cash. And so now I'm going to show you guys step 2, what the private launch looked like. No, so we took 3 routes. He had a YouTube channel, and basically he did his YouTube live, Discord members, right? Free members, pay members, and then his Instagram. So essentially, here's how we did it. Okay. When you do a private launch, it doesn't mean that no one really knows about it, but it's more of like very soft and it's very intricate, right? So he did a YouTube live. Okay. He doesn't really like post that many videos. He went live. And he didn't go out all the way saying, oh, we're going to do the whole thing, whatever. He just said, hey, by the way, I'm going to be doing a mentorship soon. Like, here's a type form if you want to essentially tap into it. And so people started to apply from the type form over here. And they found out you guys can pretty much copy these questions. Obviously, we need to know what they're experiencing in trading, how old they are, what they do for work, how much they could have to invest, who's going to be taking the call, and their phone number information for them to make sure they show up. Now, we also did an announcement, right, in this Discord. Now, mind you guys, this is not like public VSL we did on YouTube. This is not like an IG multiple reels to sauce up the launch. It's not a whole story sequence on IG. It's not. And so we did a whole announcement over here in the Discord for people to essentially go down below and also apply to Typeform. We did say there's 10 spots limited. Now, when you do a private launch, the most important thing to do is that you have to do limited amount of spots, right? It's a high scarcity, and there's always gonna be a limited amount of spots, so it's gonna start really fast. Now, obviously they go to Typeform. Something we didn't do here because it's a soft launch. We didn't go dialing every single person. We didn't go, aggressively SMSing everyone, which we could have done. But when you're doing a private launch, you're just, hey, who's the warmest person possible? That's who we're pretty much gonna get on. So you private and you take the warmest people, and it works like freaking butter. Like I said over here, to maximize revenue in the future, if someone's unqualified, we'll downsell them to pretty much a $497 course, or we'll call them, make sure they didn't make a mistake in the funnel. And if someone is qualified and potentially they get stopped here, and what's going to happen a lot of time is that basically they're just not going to book a call. This happens a lot of times. People say they have the money, they forget to book a call. You should basically give them a call on WhatsApp or the phone dial and say, hey, like, I saw you filled out the form, or hey, this is Yusuf from like X person's team. I saw you reached out to Instagram or through Discord, and I saw you just reached out to the forum, correct? I say, yeah. Say, hey, well, I saw you've been trading for X amount of time, or this is X amount of experience, and from what I can read over here, you're looking to get out of a job, but by mistake, I see you haven't booked a call yet. Was that a mistake or no? And then basically got back and forth, whatever. Obviously, you can have a better script. I'm doing like off the top of the dome. I haven't really done dials for a trading offer myself, but it kind of goes around that. They're typically warmer, so it's a bit easier. The colder they get, the more you have to be like really dialed in your script. And what I would obviously do is, whether you're dialing or your setter is dialing, do mock calls before. Look at Typeform fill outs, mock calls between each other. Make sure that the process is actually really good and that you're not making a mistake, because you don't want to burn any leads. Goes to Calendly. Now, this is for Discord and YouTube, very low key. On IG, even more low key. All we're doing is make a quick story. Say, hey guys, been working on this, but I really only want to let a couple people in. I don't want to do anything more because I want to see if it's going to work for you guys. I want to see what the results could look like. A private launch will typically do really well because you want to get a little amount of people and you want to get them a lot of results. From there, we essentially, in the DMs, talk to them, get them set. Our setter goes in here. We have our script all lined up. Easy bread. You guys probably are going to ask, how did Hui do it? So what we do for every single student who has a launch, we'll build you basically a custom setting script. Now, this is something that, I obviously can't, I've had videos of going over setting scripts. You guys can find in my free school. And yes, this is a freaking plug because no one else in the space done this, but does this any single time anyone has a launch most of the time. So anyone that has in our group that has a launch, we'll basically hop on a call with them. We give them a custom DM script so that basically their setters can have something to work with from the start. Excuse me if I'm getting a little bit slightly hangry. It's Ramadan, I'm fasting, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm low-key thirsty, and I'm like on the brink of crashing out, but it's okay. We're all doing some valid studying here. But yeah, how many people do you know that would give you $250,000 right now today? You. Okay. Calendly, they book in. Very simple. This is where a lot of people go wrong. People book in on Calendly and all they do is do Calendly reminders. Yay, congrats, you suck. No. It's just a lack of data sets, okay? On Calendly, we have a huge blast of emails that go out, right? Immediately, 30 minutes before the event starts, 3 hours before the event starts, 24 hours before the event starts, and 12 hours, right? We blast them like freaking crazy. Also, every closer and setter has a rule. Every single morning when they wake up, they have to check up on every single lead who they have today, who's confirmed, not confirmed. If they're not confirmed, they have to call in the morning for the rest of the day. Second, we have a WhatsApp follow-up message. Why WhatsApp? Because for some reason, we've seen that WhatsApp does way better, and people respond really fast to WhatsApp. And a lot of international people or American people, when they get a message from WhatsApp, it feels real and you're human. And what you should basically go ahead and do is you make a business WhatsApp account. You have the creator's profile picture on it. People will think it's him. Yay. Works like butter. All right. Get them to accept the meeting. Send them the script. All right. Obviously, all of that stuff that we do, because we're so amazing and we're so great. 90% show up rate, 10% no show rate. Now, it is a private launch. It is warm. Most people will show up. It was 95 with people that maybe didn't show up and who just rebooked the call. It is warm, okay? Once it gets cold a little bit more, or like you're doing more of a public, you're doing a higher volume, it'll probably go down a little bit. Maybe it's 85 or 8. And then if you're running ads, probably like 60, 65 is pretty good, but it's not the freaking point, all right? The closer hops on the call. Price point, 3K paid in fulls or 2K and then upfront, and then basically 1K after. 29 calls, 26 live calls, no shows, a couple no shows only, obviously, because we cook. And then basically 57.7 closing rate, which is obviously on the public launch. We will definitely improve that. And then cash money, okay? So the process is pretty freaking simple. The problem is throughout all these little steps, right? When you're structuring the offer, the low ticket offer, the high ticket offer, if there's not that big of a difference, it's not very detailed. If the offer is not well organized, then just people are not going to buy. And that's what happens to a lot of people is they have good groups, they have good knowledge, but they just don't know how to structure the offer properly. If you don't have a good structure for upselling people on the back end, if you don't have the right automations, it's just really not going to work. So you guys can have good clients, but if you don't respect this funnel properly, by the way, a DM script could just really shit you in the bed. Meaning if you get 35 inbounds, right, the right setter and the right DM script will probably get you, again, on a warm DM CTA, 10, 15 calls booked. Sometimes it could even be 20. We've seen that. But if you have bad DMs, you might as well, we've seen people burn like 80% of them and you have 10 calls booked. And that's the difference between you doing a 10K launch or a 40K launch. All right. So it's very intricate, but it's just these small little things. Same with the type form. If you don't ask the right questions, you don't have the right information. Once the closer hops on the call, he doesn't even know why the hell he's there. Some people, they do this and they don't even ask people how much money they have saved up. How does that make sense? Let's just actually understand that. Or some people, they have people who have less money and they don't call them to double check, or they don't call them to see maybe if they have a credit line or whatever that is, or they don't even try to downsell them. Okay. So it's like a lot of these small mistakes you guys can make can kind of just really hinder it all. Like even in your Calendly, like some people have like 2 reminders. Like, come on, like let's be for real. WhatsApp, if they don't answer to the first message, follow up, right? And that's like, I'm barely scraping the surface, but essentially this is what all of it kind of entailed. At the end of the day, Hui basically took home 30% of the whole cash, which is a bag for private launch. Guys, you need to understand, we are for our students. I'm not going to go on here and take a rev off his launch, right? Because I want you guys to freaking print. So basically, Hui, for $40,000, he collected 30%, which is, let me do the math, should be 12K, right? Yeah, 12K. I'm good at math. Don't worry about it. I actually wasn't that good at like the Pythagoras. You know, guys, the equilibrium where it's like the rectangle and like at 90 degrees and 45 degrees. Anyways, that's what worked for him, and it freaking printed. And we're gonna do the public one. And once we go public, you guys are gonna be actually pretty freaking excited. And I'm gonna show you guys what it's like to launch a offer publicly. Now, you guys are probably asking, how can I be like Hui? How can I be just like him? How can I get access to the best fulfillment in the space of people who actually care and the guys who have the most results in the space? My bad that you asked. So here's what we did. And this might surprise you guys, but when our students essentially basically close a client, they don't just get a course. Ooh, it's very hands-on. So what we basically have is a full context on launches. So basically what people will do is that here we'll basically go over high ticket sales funnels and how to launch the offers basically step by step. And so the student, basically someone like Hui, will go through the whole thing. They'll basically do their best to prep their launch because obviously I want them to practice and do well. And then what we'll basically do from there is to make sure they make way more freaking money. And I'm telling you, every single launch calls the same. We hop on like, all right, it's a good foundation, but we need to change like 55-60% of this for you to actually make hella bread. So yeah, basically have a call with my CEO and myself. We basically sit down, we go over the whole launch, review it. Yes, we actually do it because that's what prints. And you're probably asking why? Because guys, how do you guys think everyone does so well? Because the first launch is the most important one. And once they get the feedback, then they're just clicking from there. We don't really have to do as much help in the future because in the beginning, we're helping them so much to do the first launch. We basically just help him out with the funnel he has to use, how to build at the back end, and just give them basically all of our copy and paste SOP. So whoever goes into a launch with number one, everything in here that's pretty much in the school. That's all like documented from like our launches and the best launches in the group that have done like 100K, 200K, 300K, even like 400K in one single launch. And then on the call, they get all of our best feedback. So when they do the launch, basically just freaking butter. And there's other guys in the group that have pretty much been using it. Jackson did $1 million last month. Actually, Adrian congratulated Jackson, did 50K last month too. Keeson did a 60K cash collected in 8 days. This is Jacob over here who talks about basically his situation where he was at. Everyone was telling him about the school funnel, and then he joined and basically did the biggest launches he ever did, and they did over 200K in cash collected. And then Fred over here, also a private launch, by the way, also another private launch that did, I think currently he was at 45K CC, yeah, on a corporate offer, which is kind of what we're starting to work on right now. So guys, it's very simple. If you want to work with us, if you want to work with me, we'll hop on a call and we'll help you basically land a creator that can make you 5-10K a month in profit. Again, if you want to see the results above, there's no better option. There's nowhere else you'll find where someone's going to be as hands-on. And a lot of you are always curious, like, why am I so hands-on? That's because my goal, I generally have a goal to essentially build the biggest group in the growth operating space. I'm very close every single day. I meet more high level operators. And I want to have every single high level operator either in my network or someone that I know personally, because my goal in the future is to get into launching different offers and launching different basically software companies, because I've built a couple softwares. And what's going to happen on the back end of that is that I can then have a connection to a bunch of operators who have really good creators who are making a lot of money, and they essentially want to get onto it. So it sounds crazy. I've been in the software space for a minute now. I know a lot of people in it. And so if I don't create good operators, then I'm going to have a good image. And so we're not going to grow the network. And so when I have my future projects, it's just not going to work out. But so far it's going really well, and I want to keep on doing the same, which is why we care so much, why we do so well. So hopefully that'll make sense for all of you. But people always ask me why. I don't really want to talk about it usually, but that's why. And that's why I actually give a fuck, because I need you guys to do really well. And I need everyone here to actually freaking print. So I'll see you guys in. If you want to book a call, it's down below. We'll have a chat within the next 24 hours, 40 hours. And then we'll go from there. So yeah, talk soon. See you guys. Peace. Good luck. And by the way, tap into the public launch. Next video is going to be public launch. Probably a free school funnel, then a public launch. Do not miss out. Please. I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. My money is. Whatever, bro. I'll see you guys.